how did you spend the holidays? Well, our guest today would probably say counting referrals. That's how he is spending the holidays. And we're going to share why and how he is counting the referrals this holiday season in just a little bit. And I can't wait to share that with you.
Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Oh, yeah. Welcome, everyone, back to another amazing episode of Referrals Podcast. Yes, another amazing. We are setting the world record for amazing podcast this year. Week after week, we are delivering the content one after another. I have to tell you, I would be remiss if I did not wish all of you a happy holidays. We are on the road to 1 million downloads, way over 500,000, almost to 750,000 on the way to 1 million downloads. And guess what? I can't do it alone. I can't download this all day, every day to get to it. I need your help. And you know what? You guys are helping me. You guys are the ones that are downloading it. You're the ones that are watching it on YouTube and listening to it on iTunes and Amazon Audible and everywhere else. And I just want to say thank you so much. I have to, first of all, give a big shout out to Lynn Faselli. She said the following in Gen just today with a 5-star review. By implementing the 7L strategies, I'm now experiencing more momentum than I've had since 2022. I've only been in South Carolina 2.5 years after moving from Michigan, by the way. This has truly been a breakthrough season for me, both spiritually and professionally. I'm in awe of what God is doing in me, through me, and around me, and I can genuinely feel His abundance all around me. I'm incredibly grateful for Michael, Tommy, this Gen community that has supported and poured into me, especially the woman who introduced me to 7L and Gen, Paula Richards. Shout out to Paula Richards right there. What I've learned here has deeply shaped how I build relationships and run my business. I know without a shadow of a doubt that I would not be experiencing what I am today without everything I've learned here. If you're new and wondering whether this stuff really works, I can honestly say it does, as long as you do. Lynn Faselli, you hit a home run on that. And also, I'm glad you're feeling better. She was ill for a little while, and she is back on her feet and roaring as she should be. So if you want to read items like this and you want to have like all the tidbits and the referral tips that we give, join Gen. Join our referral group at joingen.com. Gen is short for the Generosity Generation. We'd love to have you be a part of it. If what you hear today sounds like something you want to be a part of, then just join gen.com and join our private group on Facebook. We'd love to have you. Speaking of people that we love, we have to give a shout out to our esteemed guest here today on Referrals Podcast. This is long overdue. This is a guy who has been hitting home runs month after month. And today's guest is Dennis Daniels, a dedicated real estate agent based in St. Louis, Missouri. He serves buyers and sellers throughout the region, including Jefferson, St. Louis, Franklin, and St. Charles counties. Dennis is known for his commitment to helping clients navigate the often complex journey of buying, selling, or investing in real estate by truly listening to their goals and acting as an advocate in every transaction. Today, Dennis is here to share more about his background and his experience with the Generosity Generation and the Referral Mastery Academy, and how these frameworks have helped shape his business. Without further ado, let's welcome to Referrals Podcast, Mr. Dennis Daniels. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's great to be here.
Well, I have to tell you, it's an absolute joy. You are a regular at our RMA Zooms, in our mastery classes and everything we do. And you're different. I just want to throw it out that you're different. You already knew that you were different, but a lot of people are almost in these classes as a sort of proctor or observant. And you are a participant and a big time inquisitive mind. You always have questions during every one of these classes. And I knew from the very beginning, once you came in, that you were going to be successful because wherever you are, you're there 100% focused and like you're not just watching to watch, you're watching to challenge and get to learn more. And I just admire you in that, and I just appreciate that. So thank you for being here today, and thank you for being different. Thank you for being a learner and an implementer and a failer and an evaluator and living life like it should.
I appreciate those kind words, Michael. I don't know if I really deserve all of them, but that is probably a pretty good overview in terms of how I try to orient my life in all areas.
Yeah, you're so growth minded instead of fixed minded, and
Mhm.
it's just refreshing to be around the people who really get it like that, like you do. I am curious, how long have you been in real estate, and what inspired you to get your license in the first place? I don't always ask that on the
Sure.
podcast, but I'm genuinely curious about your journey, how it started.
Well, if you would have asked me 15 years ago if I'd be in real estate, I'd say, what kind of prohibited substance are you smoking right now, Michael? But that's not the case now. And I really do feel that the good Lord's got me exactly where he wants me to be. I enjoyed a very successful 30 plus year career in corporate America, being a road warrior, traveling coast to coast, working with people. I've probably done over $3 billion in sales and production in the food consumer products industries, to everything on a distributor to a retailer standpoint. So, negotiating contracts in real estate, where it's a lot more just fill in the blank, is a lot easier than sitting across from a big box retailer with their set of buyers and lawyers, and then my team to be able to try to hammer out a 3-year commitment and agreement. But I really enjoy it. So, I had discovery about 13 years ago that maybe for the better part of my back half of my life, I'd like to be able to have an encore career and establish that in real estate, because I can continue to work, help people one on one, and help them fulfill an American dream of owning their own home or moving on to a lifestyle that better suits them. So it's been tailor made for me, and I haven't looked back. But going from a W-2 to 1099 mentality, I've met a lot of great people like you and RMA over the course of this period of time that have enhanced my ability to be able to do more for my clients. So I'm very appreciative of that too.
Well, that's awesome. So have you been in real estate for 13 years?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And so this was not by default, or this was actually by design. This was actually something that you basically pivoted from your corporate environment and put your head towards real estate and went through the process. Is do I have that correct?
That is correct. And like I
You are
say,
rare. You are
yes,
different. This has been a by default type of
right,
business for,
right.
got divorced, decided to get in real estate, or got laid off, decided, was employed slash unemployed as a life coach. So they decided to get into real estate, whatever it may be. But
Sure.
it's one of those where that's really cool that you got into it by design and with intention, because I don't think that's the story for most people. So when or how did you first discover 7L, the Generosity Generation, the Referral Mastery Academy, kind of our, solar system, if you will?
And I found it very uh, educational, almost inspirational, with a lot of the different aspects that are in it. And of course, keep in mind, this was 12, 13 years ago. On that technology, Zoom calls now, and everything else is completely evolved in terms of how we grow and learn and experience things here. So I read the book and I implemented several of the aspects, some of the things that you referenced in the publication. I had already been doing, but once again, I considered myself to be more unconsciously competent at doing it. But you kind of framed it very nicely for me to be able to kind of expand upon that. So, a case in point was even just doing for my clients in real estate of after the transition of being able to do an open house for them and their neighbors when they moved into a community here. So not only did that enhance my business opportunities by meeting more people, but it also showed my sincere gratitude to my clients for allowing me to take them on a journey of buying their home and moving in, plus building some bridges between themselves and their local community. So they got off and running with neighbors and just all that fellowship that can translate from that. So it was a very good experience for me. And that was just one of several things that I picked up from your publication. But then, as things would have it, you start working in your business and you're going here and you're pulling there. And there's a lot of shiny objects out there in the real estate business because I think we're the most overmarketed industry for what the latest whistle and bell is that everybody says you should be doing. And, some things I've tried, some things didn't work, some things are still mainstays in my portfolio. But at the end of the day, here, I had the opportunity about, year 14 months ago here to re-engage with you with the event mastery class back in the fall of 2024. And from then on, it's just that, hey, I've got to really become more masterful in this referral-based marketing, which is kind of how I orient myself in going to market here. So that's why I have grown in the ways that you kind of described me earlier here through the RMA.
Yeah, love it. And so was the housewarming party the first strategy that you took out of 7L, or was like what was your favorite first one that complemented kind of already the human being you were? You were already generous and kind and sympathetic and that kind of thing. What was a strategy that you kind of piled on first besides the housewarming party?
Well, it was pretty much the housewarming party, but took to a new level power notes, as we like to call them now at
Hmm.
RMA. But being back a grade school child with my from Germany grandmother that would send me a few dollars in a birthday check or a Christmas check, my mom always
Hmm.
told me, "Hey, you better send a thank you note to her here on that, or otherwise she will cut you off." And being the number five of six children, I think my mom talked from wisdom and experience on that because my younger sister, a year and a half younger, she stopped doing it and she got cut off. So anyway, for for, for, for whatever it's worth here, it made sense. But for that old indoctrination from my mother to enhance with you, and then what is even going on now through RMA with power notes here, I've taken that to a completely new level of mastery, which I really enjoy. And it not only makes me feel good, I know it really makes a positive difference when someone receives those notes, whether it's a thank you note, whether it's just an appreciation note, just on
Hmm.
some of the things that they do that I'd like to be able to shore up or aspire to in my life in terms of character traits, etc., or to even just congratulate them on a successful experience in their life, whether it's the birth of a new child to an anniversary or a new job. So, that connection with the power notes have been something that has been very, very strong that I continue to build upon.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, all right. So, what was your business? So, you've been in RMA for 14 months. What was the
Mhm.
14 months before that like? And maybe just do a compare and contrast between the 14 months before and the last 14 months. Like, what have you seen is a different, if any, like what has been the difference for you?
Well, one of the biggest things is consistency and discipline. With RMA Academy, as those that have been enjoying it like I do here, and a lot of the different concepts and programs are compartmentalized here, where you're able to get touches with them that they continue to build week to week. So, for
Mhm.
example, a couple Zoom calls over a 4 week period. Each week, gives you 8 touches there. But there's work that can be done beforehand, work to be done afterward, work to refresh yourself. Even if you have to revisit something, the RMA library has an opportunity to watch the Zoom call again a second time if you miss something here. So it gives you an opportunity of a really major building block. And of course, I'm sold on the fact of the three pillars, which is self mastery, relationship mastery, as well as event mastery here. And probably my biggest aha through this whole process as I continue to be engaged, but also step back and look at where I'm at, where I want to be able to go, is the fact that with mastery, and I don't care if you're a quarterback in the NFL or if you're a baseball player and you're sure to a CPA, the life and world around us is continually changing. And you just have to step back for a minute now with what this next change is going to be with AI, artificial intelligence, and how that's going to be even more impactful than what the internet did in the 80s or electricity did 100 years ago for the world here. I mean, you can combine both of those events here, and AI is going to take us into new areas, but it's all about one-on-one, one-on group, personal connections, and with what RMA is able to offer me allows that personal touch that AI will never be able to get to. So when you talk about what was I doing the previous 14 months, well, there were various webinars and Zoom calls and uh, in brokerage training and development programs here, but they all gave you just a little bit of samples and pieces here, but they didn't really affect you individually, because I look at RMA with what I've learned, Michael, here, that is not only enhanced my real estate business and how I'm able to help others more and help them be successful, which that obviously vibrates back to me in terms of me being successful, living my mission here, but it's also affected my other ports of call in my life here on that. So once again, my power notes go to all people in my life here, as far as not just real estate related here.
Mm.
So that's where I think where I was before 14 months ago to where I'm at now, where I continue to aspire to be, that mastery is ongoing and changing here. So RMA keeps evolving as I've seen over this last year. So I'm really looking forward to even 2026 with all the other enhancements and things that are going to take place here to make me just that much better, because I'm always looking at the future version of myself and how that person could end up being and where I could end up going to be able to be the best I be.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And so on that is, what did you do more of in 2025 than you did in 2024? So what did you do more
Mhm.
of? And maybe you can talk about like all of their differences, which is, what did is there something that you're doing less of this year that you gave up that also made you go up? Like, you've had a really, really good year, a record-breaking year. I can't wait to get into your events, which we'll
Mhm.
talk about next. But like, what are you doing more of in 2025 than you did in 2024? And then what are you doing less of than you did in 2024?
Well, one thing, and it just has kind of come across in the last, say, 30 to 60 days for me. And it's kind of tough for me because I'll be 66 years young next month. So a lot of these habits and disciplines and practices have been ingrained in me forever. And I'm the kind of a person with high needs of achievement to be able to make things happen, being of service to others and do things. So I don't have a tendency to say no as often as like, yeah, I'll accept that, take that on. But I think I finally realized that the more I say yes, the more things I miss out there that I'm going to have to say no to, because there's just one of me. And with me being able to apply myself. So I've had to be very, I guess, wise in terms of approaching that. What are the things that I need to be able to say yes to, and what things should I say no to? So I'm trying to eliminate a lot of those things, which I call clutter and distractions and time robbers in my life, to be able to apply myself for my core mission in terms of what I want to do. And it's not just for real estate, it's for the other areas and ports of call of my life, as I like to be able to call it, friends and family, my hobbies and interests, my physical health, my financial health, all those different areas where a lot of times if I take on something, I'm very committed to the point
Mm-hmm.
of some people have said that my 80% is 105% of what someone else would bring here. But,
Yeah.
one thing I never will have to apologize for is my ethic as well as efforts to be able to do things here. So, do I give above and beyond? Well, I expect to give above and beyond with like love treatment to my clients on that. Because if I'm doing it like I'd be doing for my late mother or grandmother here, I have nothing to have regrets for at the end of the day. Doesn't make the fact that mistakes will happen, but the thing is, I am personally accountable for them. So that's why, once again, I just try to apply myself to the maximum. So giving up some of those things out there so I can concentrate on my core has been very, very important for me.
So you've mentioned commitment, consistency, and discipline.
Yes.
And it is amazing that the consistency of those three things being the difference between what I see as the average or the typical and the achiever like yourself is that they have this combination of consistency and discipline. Their discipline is consistency is doing similar things continually, right? Discipline is doing the things you don't necessarily want to do consistently,
Right.
right? So discipline's a pretty powerful tool, and
Mhm.
discipline also sometimes implies delayed gratification.
Correct.
And successful people typically have delayed gratification. There's a marshmallow test out there that has been going around for 20 years, but it's a test of a youth or kids uh, delayed gratification, and they tracked those kids for years, and the ones that had the more delayed gratification type of an attitude were more successful in life,
Right.
and that kind of leads to discipline. I'm willing to do something painful now to get the pleasure later, and that's essentially what discipline is. And then you nailed it on the one really powerful element that I've seen in successful people is that they just own commitment. They are not just interested parties. They are not coming to mastery class to spectate or be entertained. They are full-fledged participants. They are committed. And that is, you hit it on the head. The problem with committed people and people who are really successful is what I call the talented person paradox. The talented person paradox is that you're going to be asked to do more things and you're going to be like doing more things, and then pretty soon, like, are you doing what you are uniquely talented to do? The fact of the matter is you're going to do whatever you do really well, and then you turn around and you realize the ladder is on the wrong building. You know
Right.
what I mean? And it's so I just love that, because I hope that what people take from this is that, man, if we could give you a New Year's resolution to everybody listening to this, it would be you are going to be more consistent, more disciplined, and more committed in 2026. And one way to do that is to say no to more things. In 7L, what is the first lesson coach delivers to Rick? It is, you're starting this coaching, you're not doing any other coaching. I want you to throw away all the other books and the only thing you're going to do is you're going to do the things we coach you in the next 7 sessions. Commitment, focus. And guess what? One of the reasons that Rick was successful is because he embraced one system for a period of time and it worked for him. And
Right.
that's the power of all this, especially realtors. I mean, how many different emails or Facebook posts or messages are we getting about the latest the latest seminar, webinar, Zoom, whatever it may be. So I absolutely love that. You got to say no to more things to say yes to the major things. We don't
That's
want
right.
to we don't want to major in the minors. We want to
Hmm.
major in the majors, right?
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
love that. All right. So one thing that I know that you have done more of in 2025 is events, and not just events, but event mastery. So you're
Hmm.
not just doing events, you're implementing the nuances of event mastery. We call them kind of the little things that make the big difference. So Tell me about your events in 2025, because I really think the full picture needs to be explained before we go into your latest, greatest event. And I can't wait to talk about that. So, but
Okay.
give us the yearly picture of the events that you did starting in January and going through to December.
Sure. Well, once again, for this calendar year 2025, I did four major events, and I spread them out pretty much on kind of a quarterly basis on it here because once again, through the mastery of events here, you've got all the work up front, you've got the event, and then you've got your post-event follow-up work on that. So it's no different than painting. If you're going to be successful in, say, painting a room here on that, all the work is in the preparation here, figuring
Mm-hmm.
out what colors you want, cleaning the room, moving the furniture, getting the tarps, getting the supplies, figuring out your time and schedule. So when you start, you can kind of get to a natural finishing point if you don't get it all done in one experience here on that. So a lot is all that preparation. So that's all just before the event. Yeah, the fun part's writing your name on the wall or whatever with
Mm-hmm.
paint on that here. But that's just the event itself here. But then the real gold is afterwards in terms of the follow-up. And for these four events, I've taken another aspect of my life because if I can skip a stone across the pond, I'd like that stone a little bit better than one that just plops in on that. So I've seen each of the four events build in terms of not only what I've grown to be able to bring to make them more successful here, but in terms of the attendance, the impact on the charity, etc. here. And so in the spring, I had one that was for used sporting goods equipment, although some people went out and bought some new sporting goods equipment for children that right now cannot play in a particular sport because they can't afford to buy a ball or a glove or a bat
Or
and
a bat. The
and
bats have
so
become so expensive.
oh, absolutely. Everything is head. But the thing is, the nice thing is, I found a nice charity that was dedicated towards this, a grassroots organization here, so to say, someone that you'd have to really research to really find, but within his little local niche and community here was very successful here on that. So I had people bring the equipment to a facility that I hosted the event at. And they dropped that off, and everybody received a nice potted flower plant that they could take and give to someone else or plant it themselves. It worked indoor, outdoor. So I bought a whole bunch of these nice, large flowering plants. And I timed it that it was the Saturday before the following weekend of Mother's Day. So once again, it even gave them the suggestion that they could pass that on to their mother, their wife, give it to their child to give to their wife. So they could help to spread that joy a little bit more as a thank you. I had some light refreshments there, and we collected a lot of stuff. In fact, one of my sponsors went out and bought $300 worth of new rolling sporting goods equipment here
Mm.
to be able to donate on that. But I was even just looking for the various people within my sphere of influence that had stuff laying around a garage or basement that just needed to get repurposed to somebody similar like you would do with a blanket or a coat for a blanket and coat drive here on that. So that was my first event back in the spring. Then I did a support our little superheroes. It was a movie event in July with the opening of the Superman movie this week or this year. And with that summer blockbuster just after Independence Day, I held on a Thursday night the event. Obviously, I had limitations because of the size of the cinema here, but with 50 plus people to be able to pack that small cinema with RSVPs, everybody brought a bulk package of diapers because I found out doing a little bit of research on some charities that one out of two families in America have diaper anxiety. So these families have to make a decision whether they're going to put food on the table, pay the utilities, or have sufficient amounts of diapers and wet wipes to be able to service the hygiene needs of their young children and infants. And so everybody
All
brought
right, I
that.
have to interrupt you on that one
Mhm.
real quick,
Yeah.
real quick. One of the most iconic images, and this is not just me, this was my entire team. One of
Hmm.
the most iconic images of 2025 from Gen Gen is you in a Superman suit
Oh,
for your little superheroes movie event.
yeah, yeah.
I'm just telling you, that, I mean, you're so clean cut, you're so classy, you're so, you know what I
Oh,
mean? You're like
yeah.
so professional. And then boom, in a Superman suit. It was so good. It was just it was iconic. It really was. I absolutely love that. So you did
Well,
the
Michael,
July. Yeah.
yeah, that was a kind of a shock and awe approach with a lot more shock than awe. But anyway,
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was
okay.
awesome. It's
But
good. So
I did
what
get a
was
few
your
comments about that, but I want to take myself out of my comfort zone and make a little bit more of a splash because once again, you got to get notice out there. And if I'm going to attract people to come to events and things like that, I got to do something a little different once in a while.
there is something about dressing up. I had a client who was forming a Facebook group and wanted to get the word out about the Facebook group. And I told her, go get a costume and just like promote it at your events that they need to go here, right, to see more of you or whatever it may be.
Right.
And it ended up that Facebook group, I think it has over 67,000 people in it to this day. And her getting out of the box promotionally and mentally was a big reason that it grew to the size it did. So I absolutely love it. So your second event was in July with Superman. What did you do for your third event?
The third event, once again, I've got a lot of respect for our nation, our military and veterans. So I want to do something, but since November is usually geared around Veterans Day and all that activity, I kind of want to take a line out of Wayne Gretzky, arguably one of the greatest hockey players of all time in the world. And it actually, the quotation kind of comes from his father giving Wayne, as a young child, that instruction: go to the place on the ice where the puck isn't because it's going to squirt through it. If you've ever coached or watched small kids play soccer, it becomes like herd ball and they're all kicking each other. But move away for a little bit. When the ball comes out, you've got some room to be able to take it, pass it, shoot it, dribble it, whatever you want to be able to do with it here. So obviously, Wayne applied that direction from his father. And so, what I wanted to do with this event was do it in early October here in St. Louis. So, I partnered with a local burger frozen custard place. So, instead of being an ice cream fun day, I called it a fun day Sunday. And we met there. And if the patrons would bring in five or more canned goods, they got one free scoop of frozen custard of their choice, uh, courtesy of myself and my sponsors helping to pay for this. If they brought in nine or more items, you got two scoops, and then the trifecta for three scoops was 12 or more items. Well, everybody kind of would go with the big, larger volume anyway. And so we collected that for veteran active military at a pantry called the JB Patriot Pantry at Jefferson Barracks, which is a national cemetery. I didn't even realize next door, even though I volunteer as a pallbearer at the cemetery there, it's been around for 17 years. So kind of a very niche food pantry, and they could use those, especially when the government shut down in October. They started running out of resources. Their patrons that were needing services. Everybody thinks of pantry items, and especially during military month to donate in November. Well, they need them every month. So we collected 200 items, whether there be personal care items like toilet paper and paper towels to canned goods, etc., all non-perishables. And we collected over $300 and even had one child that came out that threw some money in a little jar there for us. His grandmother was with him and he wanted to donate his 22 cents. So that kind of got things going. And we collected $307.22 besides all the item donations that the representative from the pantry took with her at the end of the program. So those are some of the great things that just happen, and it's just good to be part of that. But it's a team effort, and so that charity obviously served the active military and veterans that are needing some of these resources.
I love it. All right. And then you just had your fourth event not too long ago. Tell us what you did
Correct.
there.
Yes, well, this was actually the second one. So I got into RMA back in October of last year. but I've grown so much since then. This was my second annual uh, coat drive effort for the homeless, where we provided a pumpkin pie to everybody that brought one or more items in. And I was very pleased to be able to see that we collected 380 items overall, 202 coats for men, women, and children, 40 blankets, which that was an improvement over last year because I thought, well, these people have all cleaned out their closets that I'm reaching out to. What do I do for a little bit more to stretch them and get them to participate and be involved? And so we collected 40 blankets. So it was a blanket and coat drive this year. And we held it at a local Italian restaurant where a private meeting room, our sponsors and I covered it. We had some light appetizers and beverages for the people that came. We were also able to give away a attendance prize, grand prize of a 43-inch 4K TV. So it was a nice draw for people. And I was really happy to see that the person that received that has been somewhat challenged over the last year. They're retired, and you would have thought that I gave a brand new bike to a little kid that for Christmas, you know, how that here, that they didn't
Yeah.
expect to get a bike. So they were just excited about it. And we had some restaurant gift certificates to be able to pass out as secondary prizes. So the patrons received benefit. They were doing something good in terms of bringing coats and blankets and scarves and hats and stocking caps for the homeless. And the charity was a youth group at a local university, which I'd like to be able to see that they're reaching out into the community doing things where they prepare meals, but I discovered them last year. So last year, where we had 125 items overall, thereabouts, we ended up with 380 this year. So he had to call his parents to come with their vehicle to be able to take them at the end of the night, and then also a friend from college, and he had a big pickup truck, but we repackaged them into bags that had 4 for men, 6 for women, coats and things. So when they got all these things down there, but I mean, we were bulging at the restaurant there, and the director of marketing for the chain, she actually came, worked it a little bit with us, and she was very impressed. So this event management, one mastery of what we're trying to be able to do here, just continues to ripple out with other contacts and connections and appreciation by others to really set the thing. So that's where I know I'm really into a good groove here with charity, patrons, resources. But here's the one thing I don't think a lot of people realize, that all those patrons that came, and we had probably about 70 people in attendance there here, and generated some referrals thereafter. They have needs too. Now, the homeless or a family with diaper anxiety, they need diapers. You know, kids that can't
Mhm.
play sport, they need a ball glove, etc. here. But the people donating this, we all have needs in our world. We all have wants. I'm focused more on just what are the needs here. So having them complete just a really quick survey that might take 30 to seconds to a minute here when they register coming in, they're all RSVPs, you know, they can identify certain things that they need in their life, whether it's a
Mm.
handyman, whether it's an estate planner, whether it's a cleaning company. And it doesn't matter if they're in their 20s or if they're in their 70s here, everybody's got needs here on that. So
Right.
I try to be able to build bridges through my corporate sponsors that help me out. Some of them are solopreneurs like myself, to others that I may have to reach out to be able to connect these people together. So hopefully they're aging with grace in their environment, but they're getting needs filled. So everybody wins in these experiences here when we do these events. So, I mean, that's the kind of synergy that's created that I just really am in awe of every time I do that. And we've continued to build from event to event, and just the results were what the results were. So we gave out over 70 pies, because I also gave those to some other different individuals that had kind of helped behind the scenes besides my volunteers. So I think it was just a win-win-win-win across the board, Michael.
Yeah, and that's what we hope the events to be, what do we hope the events become. And I mean, one thing is that you can directly see is you tripled the amount of charity help that you
Right.
provided from year to year. So that's one thing that's beautiful, is when we can measure that growth. Too many people do events and they just they don't see the growth. They may see the same amount of attendees, or maybe a little bit more attendees, or what, or maybe they just measure their success in attendees, and that's not necessarily the best metric for your events. And one of the metrics is what you did for the charity. And I have to tell you, you did something at your chair for your in your charity arm of this that I had never heard of before. And I mean, it almost drew tears. What did you do differently with the coats that are going to be donated to, the homeless shelters and the kids and the people who need these coats?
Yes, I think you're referring to one of the things that I did last year, and then I expanded it this year, just because once again we've had the impact that we could have on it here is uh, I realized this youth group at the university that prepares meals, and then they go out and they try to engage the homeless that don't come in, as well as those that come in, to make sure that they're as warm as they can be through the winter season on that. So I had prepared little cutout strips of paper that had what I call kindness notes as far as with that for these individuals. And it would be just hang in there, or you are loved, or adapt and overcome. Some type of a positive message, very short, very bold, very large, that would be stuck in the pocket of the coat or jacket for the person that's homeless there on that. And we'd also have the patrons, when they dropped off these, ask which ones did you want to be able to put in there here. So the patrons were able to pick that out. And then my volunteers were repackaging the coats and supplies. So they were in individual bags, would be able to then take those and place those accordingly here on that. So it was kind of like opening up a Christmas present. I like to think that as these coats are and jackets are distributed out there to the homeless here, that they know someone is not only just helping to provide them with some warmth, but also is
Yeah.
thinking of them on a personal level.
Yeah, the notes and the coats
Yeah.
is a brilliant, just a brilliant twist on just donating coats. I
Yes.
absolutely love that. I just love that. So that's very, very cool. And so, I mean, so you had 70 attendees. Do you know
Mhm.
how many outgoing and incoming referrals you generated from that event?
Yes, initially 33 on that, but that's even expanding more because just calling back and having conversations with people come, as well as even doing a post-event survey, has garnered additional contacts. It keeps just rippling out there here. And once again, these for the various solopreneurs and sponsors, partners, and sponsors we love, as I like to refer to them as, at my event here, and why we put these things on. But then there were opportunities for those people to mingle with some of them. So it was nice just getting that. So it continues to build. And I'm just excited about that because that fills some of the needs of the patrons, but also keeps them connected to me because this was something that I had an opportunity, because my next event will be March 14th for all these similar type individuals. And 314 of 2026 is also the numerical values for what pi is, pi. And
Yep.
since I've already had a pie, I'm going to probably slide into an apple pie to keep it simple for people, something a little different than the pumpkin pie for now here. Uh, Everybody that comes gets a nice big large slice of pizza pie, on that. And I just need to get coordinated that, but I've had them save the date. So I'm developing what I guess some people would call my tribe, but it's my
Yeah.
sphere of influence, and just those people that expand out from that, that, hey, they're getting conditioned that every so often there's going to be some charity that Dennis is going to kind of connect with here, and there's going to be some fun atmosphere and experience, and we can make a difference. And let's participate here. And my sponsors support it. My patrons support it. My family supports it. It just is very nice. But once again, I could probably do these events without the charity here, but it's just nicer because we all have needs, like I say. And if I'm going to make referrals for needs, I mean, some of these need a direct helping hand. So I'm kind of curious what charity I'll kind of connect with here in the spring to support, this whole event and be the core piece. Because the number one is take care of the charity. Number two is everybody to have a really fun experience and a rewarding, memorable time at the experience. And then number three is hopefully we can generate connections on a secondary level to fill the various needs of the patrons that have supported the charity here on that. So, and that's ongoing.
Yeah. And the fourth would be generate referrals for yourself,
Yes.
which
Oh, well, that's
happens
always
here as
helpful.
well. Yeah. So let me ask you this. So how has your business changed in between 2024 and 2025? Like how has doing business changed for you, either mentally or, actually like really, like how has it changed?
Right. Well, I've always had a referral based business here on that.
Hmm.
And I was doing some of these various elements within that business here. But I'd hate to say the fact it was still much more transactional than I would have liked to have been doing now. Now, I have a tendency to kind of grow on people and good, bad, or indifferent, but hopefully it's a beauty mark instead of a wart. But at the end of the day here on that, just staying in touch with these people has gone to a new level. And it's not so much as giving them a call or sending them out a Cardinal baseball schedule here with my real estate business card at the top on that. I mean, I still do some of those things here as far as with it here on that because they know I love baseball as an example and some of those things. So that's part of me, that just as a reminder here. But the fact that I'm doing these events has us in terms more of a personal relationship here. And not everybody, I mean, people buy milk and bread so much more often, but are they buying and selling houses? No, but they know people that maybe need somebody that can be trusted, that is a good guy, that's going to do the best for him. And if I can't be a good fit for that person because maybe they're too far out of the geography here, even though I'm licensed in the state of Missouri, I'm just going to do St. Louis here, but I know other people in other markets that I could refer things out to. So that's where building those bridges are really more important. I just feel like I'm taking that to a new level and I'm not even close to where I think I can end up being as I continue to grow and do these types of things. So it's all about scale now, just like the one code event from a year ago to the one that just happened a couple of weeks ago to the one that's going to happen next year. So not only do I need a bigger venue, I'm going to have a few more wrinkles and surprises, and we'll see what'll happen. So maybe Supergirl will join me.
Or Dennis Daniels dresses up as Santa. I mean, there's all
There
kinds
you
of
go.
there's all kinds of things that we could do because you're playing
I
Santa for your
resemble that
community.
remark. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
represent
resemble
it
that
instead of
remark. That's
resent it, right?
yeah.
I
Yeah. No,
represent
no,
that,
no. It's
not
just yeah.
so how has your relationship with your community changed? Or let me be more specific. How has your relationship with your sphere changed in the last year by doing what you've been
Yes.
doing?
Well, some people, are kind of amazed. And then some people that have known me on some of my philanthropic things, because I belong to some organizations that help to fill these gaps in need. But one of the things I don't enjoy as much about them, which is kind of why I do it the way I want to be able to do it, is the extensive bureaucracies and not everybody's seeing the same vision that I see here on that. So as long as I can have my thumbprint on it. And I realize I can only do so much, but I've been able to rally a lot of different people. So I've actually had people step up that wanted to be volunteers to be able to help support these types of things here. And then I've also got some of my sponsors slash partners we love that I refer out that have introduced me to others that are like-minded like themselves to be able to support these things. So this grows and I want to keep it personal. I want to keep connected and in touch with it here. But and if anything, I'm also learning to delegate a little bit more because I have a certain vision and high quality expectations and standards, but try to be able to engage other individuals to be able to take on some different roles. So the best is yet to come, in my opinion, here. And so I'm really excited about that. And it just helps to fuel my passion a little bit more towards what's going to happen 2026. But it's not going to stop next year, and it's not going to stop the following year, good Lord willing. I'm going to continue to
Mhm.
build upon this thing here. And RMA is just one of the catalyst to be able to help me be personally accountable and keep on the cutting edges because as I say, things keep changing around the world. I keep changing, opportunities keep coming and going here on that. So it's just trying to be able to put it all together here. And there's a lot of great people, and RMA has been so valuable for me to be able to raise my game and support of this.
Well, definitely appreciate that, but you've done all the hard work. You've done all the work and implemented like a machine.
Mhm.
And so I've asked like how your business has changed and how your
Okay.
relationship with your sphere has changed. How do you think Dennis Daniels has changed in the last 14 months?
Well, I think for the most part, I've become much more appreciative of what I am doing here. And I'm also identifying that I've got limitations. I've got to be able to trust in some others here. I can apply myself to the maximum here. But if I'm really going to get the kinds of achievements that I want to be able to see have happen out there, I've got to trust in myself, trust in the process, trust in this, and just keep implementing. And it's not about perfection, even though I have
Mhm.
high standards and have always battled that through the course of my life. Someone said, maybe I was overly strict potty training by my mother, which is probably the case. But anyway, but I have certain standards that I want to see achieved here. But there's a way to get up that hill successfully here. And through RMA, through the various people in my network, what I'm able to bring to the table here, it's just kind of creating that environment. And, I'm not the star. The star is who is benefiting from this, on that here. And for me to be able to just kind of be a role there within that mix has been very satisfying me. And so that gives me greater joy, greater happiness, greater success, because I feel the more people I can help and touch, the more successful they will be. And in turn, I will be. And it's not about
Mhm.
finances. It's not about dollars and cents, although we measure those types of things. And I wouldn't be the person I am if I didn't try to be able to see, because anything that can be improved can be measured. So you have to have some type of numerical value to some of these different things. You kind of put it all together. But it's really the intrinsic joy over this last year that I think I've enjoyed more to be able to grow into that, as opposed to just saying, hey, I just need to get this thing done and I'm getting it because it's a task or an obligation, but it's more of an enjoyment now here. So, and of course, it is hectic sometimes. It's a little stressful. You're also kind of just wondering this and that, some of the different things, because you can't guarantee it's not going to rain or something's going to happen. But even just getting the cell phone number and emails that say, hey, I know you've RSVP'd here, but in case I've got to get in touch with you, I want to be able to know in case the restaurant burns down or the power goes off or something like that, that I can
Right.
get a hold of you. So you have that information, but then part of with the event management or mastery and management of the program, what I've learned also over the time is just once again sending out that text reminder a day in advance, showing my enthusiasm, how I'm looking forward to seeing them there, to doing it a couple hours in advance as a reminder, because we're all really busy in this world. And I don't want to let one person miss the opportunity, because I have had that in the year before where a few people forgot about it. They got lost on that here. So I will try to overcorrect for that, just to be able to make sure they have every opportunity, which is an invitation, to come and attend this event.
Well, I and maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here, but this is what I've
Hmm.
seen as far as the difference in Dennis Daniels in the last couple of years is I you called it intrinsic joy and enjoyment, and it really good. I think you're having more fun in the business
Hmm.
than you did the year before. Like that's what I see.
Yes.
I mean, everything from the Superman picture to the pictures I see from your events, listen, you're not like you're smiling in all those photos, Dennis, and it doesn't look
Hmm.
fake. It looks genuine and it looks real. So that's one. And then here's the other thing that
Hmm.
I've really noticed is that your community sees the generous Dennis Daniels that you were always before, but they didn't see it. And it's not
Right.
you saying we raised 20,000 or I donated, 50,000 or
Hmm.
it's through your events that support charities and people are looking at you like they thought you were a nice guy before. Now they know that you're not only nice, but you're also generous. Plus they know how professional you are for pulling off these events. But I think the two biggest things I saw is just like you said, an enjoyment and fun. Like it seems like you're having more fun, and
Hmm.
your community is seeing you through a little bit different eyes and seeing you for the generous person you've always been. Am I jumping to conclusions, or is that what I see through your pictures and in just having our conversations through the year?
No, I think you're spot on. It's hard for me to kind of accept some of that because I wasn't raised that way, but uh, I do appreciate the kind words here, Michael, and I do know that I'm on the right path, and that's what really makes me very excited about what I'm doing here, and I am enjoying it much more so than ever before.
Yeah. So for agents who are struggling, or maybe they're on the fence about joining Referral Mastery Academy, what would
Hmm.
you tell them based on your experience?
Okay, my experience has been successful here. And as I try to be able to always make a referral, it may not be for you. You're not going to know unless you try it out here on that. So take at least one of the programs here that are on the schedule to come up here. But I would suggest sign up for a full year. It's not that expensive. You have then kind of a cafeteria style approach of everything from A to B to C down the road that you can then inject that into your business because it all gets about customization. If you're trying to grind something in, but if you're trying to develop a business that's intrinsically rewarding for you, and most of us, at least in real estate, it's not about houses and this and that. It's kind of connecting with people and helping them do what they want to be doing, enjoy it if you're going to be in this thing long term. So if you really are serious about this here, I mean, this is the best way to be able to do it because everybody wants to be invited to something. Everybody wants to participate in something. People, even the most Ebenezer Scrooge type individual out there, there's maybe a little bit in their heart of some type of charity orientation that they want to be able to contribute back to others that are less fortunate themselves because we've all been blessed so richly in our worlds for the most part. So when all those things kind of get together, this is just a natural fit here. So go ahead and try RMA out, see how it resonates for you, personalize and customize it too, because I know I don't drink coffee, but a lot of people in RMA do various events for lattes, coffee, and I mean, I would meet a lot of people at St. Louis Bread Company here or a Starbucks to be able to have a beverage and first time meeting or whatever here and that. But I don't drink coffee, so I get some iced tea. But
Yeah.
it's not about that. It's just trying to find events, self mastery, relationship mastery that works best for you here. But when you combine those three pillars together, it could just really create some synergy that you hadn't even thought about before here. So, like I say, I'm really excited about that. And I think everybody should take a real deep look at what they have in terms of the opportunity through RMA.
Well, I appreciate that. And you brought up 2026. What are you most excited about in 2026?
Oh gosh, there's so many things because I get excited cleaning out a sock drawer here on that, but it's the enthusiasm and perseverance you do it and to do it better than it was, and knowing you left the world or the sock drawer better than it would have
The
been
sock
before
drawer
here.
in a better
Yeah,
place. I
yeah, a
love it.
better place. But no, 2026, I'm very excited. So when a year from now, I'm looking back, I'm like, wow, look at all the different things that we improved over 2025. And one of the things which, Michael, and many others know through RMA is RWB. what went right, what went wrong, what could be done better here on that. And those happen to be, ironically, my three favorite colors in the success of there. My favorite color is red, followed by white, followed by blue. And
Mm.
being very patriotic oriented like I am, what went right, what went wrong, what could be done better. And I did this back in my corporate America career, where if I went and we had a major meeting with a big box store that's located down in Arkansas on that here. And we
Mm.
came out and everybody's high-fiving that we did this, we did that. But I'd always take time with myself and my team to say, hey, if they would have zigged, would we have zagged to be able to compliment that or not? These are things we did well, which is what went right. What are the things that went wrong, if there are any? But let's reflect on that since we're celebrating the success. It doesn't mean you go away and you're just hard on yourself. You celebrate that success, but you have to do some reflection too. And what we could do better if we're in a situation like that? Could we have maybe gotten the buyer's boss to the table here? Because if that buyer goes away, we've lost the relationship here. We need to be able to have a whole network embrace us and our products in line or whatever we're trying to accomplish here. So that red, white, and blue analogy, which is kind of one of the reasons that you'll probably see me in a lot of red, white, and blue, but I always have all my volunteers that are supporting my events dressed in their most patriotic garb, so they stand out for the regular patrons. People can identify them real quick to be able to help and assist. And there is a certain camaraderie with everybody kind of having that look. I haven't gone to the point where everybody has their own individual T-shirts and it's for the event here. I don't think I'll go that way because I'd rather spend the dollars elsewhere to benefit the patrons. But that's where my volunteers go. So I think those are just some things towards 2026 that I'll continue to do. And the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, I love that. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that. And, you are always looking to do it better. And that's, you are one of the leaders of Gen, and whether you admit it or not, but you are a moral compass and a model for many of the individuals within the generosity generation. And many have said it to me and honestly said it on our Zooms. So, just, you're an absolute leader, and I'm so excited about 2026 for you. And I cannot wait to be interviewing you at the end of next year and asking you, hey, what are you doing for the holidays? And you're going to tell me counting referrals.
Yeah.
And I just love that, and just appreciate you so much,
Yeah.
Dennis. And thank you so much for being our guest here today on Referrals Podcast.
Well, Michael, it's been a pleasure. It's an honor. It's a privilege. I'm just glad that the door of opportunity created itself 14 months ago for me, and I'm at event management Zoom head, and then signed up for this year of all the RMA activity, and signed up for next year, and will continue to just spend. And once again, I receive a lot, but I also want to give back a lot. So I'm always looking forward to kind of helping, whether someone wants to be able to do it or not. I'm an open door to be able to share my experiences. It's just kind of like with a referral. And even if I don't have the answers, I'll get somebody that does have the answer for them or that connection, but to help build that bridge, because I think we all deserve that opportunity to succeed and really follow our compass on the direction up the hill that we want to be able to go. And some it's straight up, some it's on an angle. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to kind of hopefully put people in positions, like trying to put myself into a position to succeed and have joy, happiness, and make a positive difference in the world. But you do a great job. RMA does an outstanding job. All the different people within the Gen network, do a tremendous amount of support, and it all just really works together. So it's fun being part of the community.
That's awesome. Well,
Thank you.
thank you again, Dennis. And ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. Is, how would you like to say, when somebody said, how would you spend your holidays?
Mhm.
How would you like to say counting referrals like Mr. Dennis Daniels did? If you're interested in learning more about the Referral Mastery Academy, it's easy. You can go to referral-mastery-academy.com. If you're still wanting to maybe tiptoe in, you're not sure, join our referral group. Join
Mhm.
gengen.com and check it out. And you can easily get into the group. There's a couple questions to answer, and then we'll get you in there. And then we do have a Smart Start Mastermind where everybody that's new, we put them in a Zoom and just kind of explain the process and how to actually maximize your opportunities that exist within the generosity generation. So check that out at joingengen.com. Or if you're sure you're ready to go all in, it's time for some coaching, go to referralmasteryacademy.com, jump in. You can jump in for less than $100 a month, or you can pay the whole shebang and get a couple of months free for paying the year in advance. Either way, it's awesome. We'd love to have you. But I have to tell you that this has been fantastic. I hope all of you embrace this. I hope you embrace the growth mentality that Dennis does. And I know a lot of you out there are generous givers, and yet your community doesn't know. Your sphere of influence doesn't know. And guess what? We have a way that you can show them how you are without you having to tell them how you are. And I hope that you embrace it. I hope you come to us, because not only will you become a better generous giver, but you're going to learn to be a more powerful, appreciative receiver. And you are going to receive sponsor money for the events. You are going to receive more charity donations for the charity. You are going to receive more referrals. You are going to receive more of what you want in life. And we help you not only be a generous giver, but also an appreciative receiver. And we'd love to have you part of what we do as we go into 2026. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. And we will see you on the next episode of Referrals Podcast.